We're now with the Human Resources Department, and Rita, if you could introduce yourself and your colleagues and then make the budget presentation.
Sure. Rita Roberts-Turner, Human Resources Director. You all, of course, know Assistant Director Jim Kramer. And we have Lisa Ricketts with us today. She's our new budget analyst, and Lisa comes to us with 20 years of accounting experience. So we're very happy to have her during this budget season.
Welcome.
This fiscal year has been extremely busy for our department with special projects like the Study and Formulating Committee, the Retirement Incentive Program, and the Pilot Safety Program. Study and Formulating Committee, as you know, Mr. Mayor, actually started meeting in May of 2011, and that group actually concluded in March 2012. In addition to facilitating those meetings and drafting the final report for you, the Benefit Board, as well as Council, our real work began once those important recommendations were actually finalized. We had to update everything from employee handbooks, forms, and plan dockets to all of our 2013 annual enrollment materials. As you can imagine, with those kind of changes, correct communication was critical for current employees as well as future hires. The Retirement Incentive Program has been quite a success, and it almost doubled the number of pension applications that our staff normally processes. For those who don't know how detailed and hands-on that process is, a team of about 6 staff members met with all 493 participants to make sure that they understood the program as well as their retirement options. Then they actually took on the work of manually calculating and entering that pension information into the system. Now, before even getting to that point, staff took the lead in facilitating 3 informational meetings for all interested employees and actually created and produced, along with the help of IT, an informational video for Channel 3 as well as the HR website. So I have to give a special thanks and kudos to Ginger Hall and Sue Bowles for implementing a great strategic plan that caused them to work with IT as well as the legal department and the finance department. And when we actually sat down and talked about it, we saved thousands upon thousands of dollars by doing that work in-house. As for the public safety program, Stephen Kane has done a great job helping our department bring workplace safety back to the forefront. This first phase has included reviewing injury data, identifying trends, and educating departments about safety compliance measures. We started this pilot with General Services, Parks, Public Works, and the Water Department, mainly because of the size and diversity of those departments. One of our goals out of this program is to determine what safety initiatives are vital as well as beneficial for the entire metropolitan government. For the rest of the fiscal year and the next, we really plan to spend time looking at ways to improve occupational health and wellness, as well as our IOD program, which I'm sure you've heard a lot about. Just as a sidebar, this year was the first time since I've been in this role we've actually conducted simultaneous assessment centers for the police department's promotional process for lieutenant, sergeant, and captain. And similar to the pension process, you really have to see this to be able to appreciate the magnitude of work that goes into this type of program. But I have to say that Robin Brown, Sonny Lyons, and Dirk Essery really have it down to a science as we work with the police department to help them not only hire the best and the brightest, but also promote the best and the brightest. Despite all that our department is juggling, as always, if we have a 2% cut, we'll work hard to avoid any major disruptions to our services. One area that we do remain strongly committed to growing, however, is our self-service product line. That really includes more online training, looking at a consolidated time and attendance system, as well as a pension calculation system. I have to say that Marla Greer brings an extensive knowledge of technology to our department and has really helped us work even more effectively with ITS to develop programs that we can look at helping all departments meet their HR needs more efficiently. And the next big step, I think, is really going to be the Learning Management System, or LMS. With this system, we can have things like automated scheduling, automated testing and scoring, and automated reporting for departments. And that's really important for departments like police and sheriff because of the things that they have to report annually just to maintain their accreditation. So we're really excited to work with IT and coming up with how something like that may look. I've probably talked enough, so I'll entertain any questions.
Well, you had a couple very large projects you worked on this year, and I think one that we're still working through but has been, I think, well handled has been the retirement incentive program, otherwise known as the buyout,
Right.
where about 490 people participated. 493. Mm-hmm. And how has that gone? Is it?
It's really gone well. I mean, again, with everything that, the staff just had already put in place before it was announced, and it was actually announced, all of the planning that went into, again, just making sure we had informational meetings scheduled and just making sure that the right information was out there was important. But one thing that may surprise you, Mr. Mayor, is unlike the private sector, and we know this because our consultants were amazed by this, we really have a hands-on approach with our employees. And one of the things that I was actually quite touched by at some of these meetings was how emotional a lot of these employees were about retiring. And so they just didn't need a face in there shuffling papers at them. They really wanted to spend time with people to talk about this next phase in their life. And so staff, I mean, I have to say, they really stepped up in understanding our employees. And that's just something unique, I think, to the Metropolitan Government's HR department.
No, well said, and I think it is important to acknowledge the service of all those employees. I mean, that's the folks who keep the government running and really have performed very well. You've also been real involved with the studying and formulating recommendations and actions on those. And, I think working with Rich and the Benefit Board, we've made some progress.
Absolutely.
And there's still work to be done.
Absolutely. I think that the recommendations from that committee were received very well. Again, it took a lot of planning to make sure things were communicated well, and then people really understood the proposals. I think that has gone smoothly. So now, again, I think the real piece is just making sure that those recommendations fit properly with our materials and that we make sure we have everything updated, because we don't want anything to fall through the cracks.
Okay. And then work continues on injury on duty, which I think last year was identified through Rich's work and also I think remarks in the council as an area where we really needed to focus on looking at potential savings. And that matter is still in front of the Civil Service Commission, is that?
Part of it, that's true. The Civil Service Commission we started having, I guess, our first presentations around January, February. We've continued to provide additional information to the Commission just about what is needed, what our proposal includes, but the Commission did move forward on two pieces of things that were proposed. One being, and I think this is quite significant, making light duty included in your IOD leave time. That's important because we had some departments who quite honestly were not motivated to offer light duty to their employees. They sort of wanted to wait and see what was going to happen with the leave time. You had employees, in all fairness, who wanted to come to work. And now they can come to work and still be working through their leave time. It motivates them to sort of understand when they need to return, to stay on a timeline, but it also helps the employee better transition back into that full-time assignment if that's something the employee is going to be able to do, and also helps that employee recognize, I think, sometimes more realistically, if he or she is not going to be able to transition back into that job more quickly.
Okay. Rich?
I'm good. You got them all?
Well, thank you for your hard work. I know we asked a lot from you all this year, and we'll probably ask a lot more next year, but that's just the way it goes.
Job security.
But we appreciate it, and thanks for the good work, and thank everybody in your department for it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks.